Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Tactical and Practical Day. You know what we do here. This is where we roll up the sleeves and we actually use the software to get things done. Today, we are going to be looking at a PM's bread and butter, and that is Microsoft Excel. And I know everyone loves their online dashboards. I love them too. In my experience, most folks download the things out of the online dashboard and then massage and manipulate the data in Excel to get what they need. And I know a lot of you folks are saying, well, I usually have someone on my team do this. You should certainly have folks on your team that are responsible for what they're responsible for, but you should know how to roll up your sleeves and get things done quickly in Excel. And that's what we're going to cover here today. So what we're looking at on my screen is a resource plan, which is just a test in Excel. It's fictitious data. And there's a couple tabs you see here. Right now, we're looking at sheet one. Sheet one is just a summarization of that resource plan data. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you some of the most common things I use. The first you're going to notice is that when you get sent this resource planning test, you can't really see the information here. Like, who are the resources? It's kind of cut off. What are their roles? What's the projects they're working on? You can kind of see the percent allocated. You can kind of see some of the status and the start and the end dates. And so the first thing we're going to do is click this box here once with the left click, and then we're going to double click on a column that is wide enough to give us all the information. I'm going to do that on resource name. I'm going to double click here. And now look how much easier it is to see that information. Anytime you're working with a list, you want to turn that list into a table because there's a lot of built-in features and functions in Excel that make your life easier and you can automate things. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to hold down the shift key. We're going to go all the way to the right and we're going to hit Control End. What that does is that allows us to select all of our data that's in a list. We're going to come up here and we're going to say format as table. I'm just going to select this table because I find that the blue and white is easier to read. And I'm going to select the one that has the banded rows. So as I'm reading hundreds and hundreds of rows of data, I can see one in blue, one in white, one in blue, one in white, and it just makes it easier. Please feel free to pick any color you like. What I tend to do when I'm working with multiple data sets is say the blue is for resource plan A. The red is for resource plan B, C, D, etc. So I definitely use colors to separate the different pieces of information as I have multiple tabs for the purpose of staying organized. For this video, we're just going to look at this. It's going to say, does your data have headers? Yes, it does. The headers are resource name, role, project, etc. It's saying, where is the data in your table? You don't need to type this in because we already selected it. You're going to say, okay. You're going to do that same trick again. Click here, double click. I'm going to make this a little easier for me to read. I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to make it white so it stands out. And I'm going to make it a little bigger. I'm going to make it 14 size. Okay. Do that trick again. I'm going to click here on the first row. I'm going to say View. And I'm going to go Freeze Panes, Unfreeze. And then what I want to do is freeze this. Okay. Now, I can see all of my data. I can see the resource names. This is fictitious data. That's why you see employee 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, you'd have people's names here. The roles are duplicative. Once again, fictitious data. The project names are duplicative. The allocation percentages may be over or under. This is just example data, but you get the point here. I can see now and work with the data. So as I scroll down, as I'm moving my down button, you can see that this remains locked in place. Now, that's because we froze it and we made it a little bigger because it's easier to see. This feature will automatically be enabled once you make the data a table, but that's okay. We've done it anyway, just because it's good practice. All right, now, assuming I'm working with hundreds, if not thousands of records of data, which I usually am, I'm then going to right click. I'm going to say insert column to the left, because every single list, every single table should be numbered. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. so I know how many records I'm dealing with. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on this little box on the right-hand side. I'm going to double click it. And now we've just had an autofill, which is another tip. When you're working inside of a table, autofill will work for you. Excel will identify the pattern here being 1, 2, 3, and it'll identify and it'll fill that for you. The next thing we're going to do, which is good practice, we're going to go into this table design and we're going to say, this is not table 3. We're going to name this because we already have this. We're going to say resource dot table dot 2 because I already have a resource table. Let's try that again. Resource table 2. Okay. The reason why we name the table is because the table now becomes an object which we can reference later on, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. We'll then name this sheet, right click here, rename, and we'll call this resource data 2. Now, I've already done that for us here. And you can see how nice and neat and clean it is. I've already done that for us here, what I just showed you. The next thing we're going to do is we want to summarize the data. How we're going to summarize the data is we're going to select our data set. Once again, hold down Shift, go to the end, hit Control, Shift, Control down. We've selected all of our data. We're going to say Insert, Pivot Table from Range. We're going to add this to the data model. Now, some important things here. I have a habit of automatically making sure I select all of my data to ensure that I do not miss anything. When you summarize your data, when you do formulas on your data, you don't want to miss rows if there's blanks, if there's spaces, that kind of thing. Once you name the range, it will automatically identify all of that for you. It's just good practice to make sure that you select all of your data and things are not missing. You can scroll through this fictitious data here because it's about 30 rows, but if you're working with 30,000 rows, it's a different story, which is why we name the range so you can refer to that name very simply, resource table 2, or whatever makes sense. We're going to select a new worksheet and we're going to add this to the data model. The reason why we add this to the data model is the same reason why we name the table or we name the range, because later on, just like we can refer to the table or range name, we can refer to things in the data model and actually build out an object-oriented structure to do some pretty nifty, heavy-duty analysis if we need to very quickly. So we're going to say, okay. Now, it's going to create that here for us. I've already given us a summary here in resource summary. All right, so now I'm just going to right click here and I'm going to say expand collapse. I'm going to say collapse entire field. All right. And I'm going to hide these very quickly. Now, what have I just done? What I've just done for us is, and I zoomed in for us too at 130% to make it a little easier right here. You can expand in or remove out. Definitely zoom in. Once again, fictitious data. Project A, Project B, Project C. You're managing multiple projects, multiple work streams. You want to get a sense of the overall status. This is a status based on the employees. As you can imagine, or based on your resources, you can have tons of status based on different things here that you wanted. But we're trying to say, okay, how many folks are on leave? How many folks are available? How many folks are over allocated? How many folks do we have actually assigned to this particular project? So we have 12 on the Apollo redesign, 11 on the lunar upgrade, and 7 on the Orion integration. Now, once again, fictitious data, but assuming that all things are equal, if these projects were equal and they never are, you could start to do analysis to say, why do we only have 7 people here and 12 people here? You could start to do analysis and say, well, we have more people on leave here than here. And later on, when we talk about things like roles and responsibilities, and we want to have transferable skill sets and rotational schedules with people, we can start to lift and shift folks from here to here and vice versa without a lot of training and back and forth, and it'll be seamless. All right, so let's unhide this again. This is an example of a tip on how you could use the pivot table to summarize information. And now let's say we say, all right, I really want to see who are the folks that are working on the Orion AI integration. I'm just going to click here. And now it gives me those employees. If you're saying, Mark, this is a lot of data, I'm struggling to read this, let's just filter this out. We'll deselect and we'll select this only, or you can type into here if you prefer. And now much easier to see. Once again, fictitious data. So these percentage allocations, this is fictitious data. But now I can say, okay, out of the 7 resources, this might be John, Jack, Jill, Jane, etc. I can say, okay, for employee number 14 here, John, I have John 75% allocated and he's available. But maybe Jack is 50% allocated and they're on leave. So this helps me to understand where people are, what they're working on, what the status is, and the percent allocated. All right. Let's look at another summary of the information here. Let's go to role. Go to role. And what we'll do, just like I said earlier, is we'll go to design. And because role is different information, let's make this green. All right, so we have resources as blue, and we'll have role summary as green, just so we can help viewers to see this when we're working with the team, so they identify in their mind that role is green and resources blue. And we might go to the color tab, and we might say, give me a lighter shade of green here, and resource tab color, and give me a lighter shade of blue. Not red, that was a misclick, a lighter shade of blue, and now it's organized, okay? And now this information is organized by role opposed to resource, all right? And project. And so what we're trying to say here is we've kind of flipped the data. We say, okay, now we have our projects on top, Apollo, Lunar, Orion. The data doesn't change, the numbers don't change, but we're starting to say, okay, well, hang on a sec now. We have 15 BAs. We have 15 business analysts here, excuse me, four business analysts here. And we have 3 project managers. We have 4 QA testers, and we have 6 developers. All right. And we only have 1 developer on the Orion AI integration and 1 BA, but we got 2 PMs. And so based on what the scope and the mission and the vision and the purpose is for this particular work stream, for this project as part of the overall program that you're managing, you might say, well, I don't think that 1 BA is enough. And I think 2 PMs might be too many. And once again, this gives you a way to quickly see your data. And so we'll click here, and then we'll click here. And once again, we can drill into that data to say, okay, who are the employees that are actually working on the Apollo redesign? And that's employee 24. Once again, we might call that John, versus the employee 28. We might call that Jane, who's on the Lunar upgrade, versus the Orion upgrade, employee 26. And just like you would have in a matrix, when you pivot this data out, the numbers help you to identify where the folks are. And also for good practice, we'll go to design, analysis, and we've given this pivot table a name, and this is the role pivot table. If we come here, once again, pivot table analysis. This is the resource pivot versus the resource data. And that's the resource table, okay? So what we've just done in about 15 minutes or less was we started with a blank list of resource planning data. We put that data into a table. We made that table larger and easier to see. We froze the header. We gave it a number, as all lists should have. We then added that to the data model. We named the tables. We then, from those tables, created two different summaries. One summary, which is a summary by project and by resource, by status, and one summary, which is by role and by project to see what roles we have to make sure that do we have the right amount of skill set working on these projects. We then color coded it to say that light green is going to be a role summary versus light blue is going to be a project summary. And please feel free to use any colors you want. It doesn't matter. I use blue and green and gray. You can use whatever you like. If you're working with a particular client and they have a branding effort, do things that are in line with their brand. Don't use too many colors. The purpose of the colors and the naming of the tables and the pivots using simple things like resource.table, role.pivot is because later on when we talk about data model and another video we're going to do, you're going to see how to reference those tables and pivots in the data model to do additional analysis. All right, guys, I hope you found value in this. I find tremendous value in these things. I find that this saves me time, this saves me mental capacity, this keeps me organized, and everyone loves the simple nature of how I do these things. If you want to get this stuff set up, if you kind of have some information and you're not sure what to do next and you want a little bit of help, please feel free to give me a call sometime. As always, these are our tactical and practical days. This is where we roll up our sleeves and we actually use the software. Excel is the bread and butter of what a PM does, especially resource planning. Remember to hustle harder, and let's talk again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.